everybody. Welcome to story teaser number 1 for the Win the Wellness W.A.R, and the W.A.R stands for We Are All Responsible. What the heck is a story teaser? A story teaser is we're doing this just like we did the first book of the All Things Wellness series. There are 3 books that Dr. Markus Wettstein and I are writing. He's an endocrinologist. And really the story teasers are just about teasing you on what these guys wrote for their story. In the book, it's a compilation book, and about 2,000 words. Everybody shares a true, authentic story about themselves, which is not always easy to do. And the reason we wanted to do this a little bit different, Markus and I, is we wanted to have content. We wanted to share what in the heck we believe in, the all things wellness wheel and balancing that. And we also wanted to have over 30 people that are real people with real problems, real solutions, real stories, whether you're a mom or you live in Jamaica, whatever. Our foreword for the first book, Fourfold Formula, you can find on Amazon. James Redfield, who also wrote Celestine Prophecy, wrote our foreword. And for this book, Dr. Tetteh, Hassan Tetteh, is writing our foreword. So what are stories, you guys? So really, I noticed during COVID, that's kind of when I flipped like what I do on its head. Anybody that I was working with, we all were at home. And we needed to reach out and we needed to see each other's energy. And so when I thought about what I wanted to do, Markus and I have been talking for a long time about doing stories, testimonies about our patients, his patients, and my clients. And then I said, no, we need to open this up to like everyone. So if you guys are interested, you can go to my website, allthingswellness.com/author, because we're still looking for a few more brilliant, amazing, daring souls out there. Hello, I have 3 of my authors here. I have Angi, I have Gina, and I have Lara. I did it. Woohoo. Okay, good. I said her name correctly. All right, so let's get this party started. If our internet is weird, then we are going to produce this however. All right, let's go, Gina. Are you ready? Did you pick out like a chunk of yours? Let's tease some people. What's yours?
I did. The title's Catalyst. Yes. All right. Oftentimes, I was mistaken for his wife. It did not occur to me to mind. He was a very caring and attentive man. He treated everyone with the same admiration as he did me. It was his Buddha-like nature. We just cared for each other and enjoyed each other's company. We had a wonderful friendship. One night, I happened to be working a graveyard shift for some overtime in the police records division. I had been logged on to my terminal for about 10 to 15 minutes when the phone rang. One of the jailers who happened to be working that evening answered the phone. All I heard was, "I'll do you one better. She happens to be working tonight." Next, I heard my name. "Hey, G, phone's for you. Line 1. I said thanks and asked who was calling. It was Karen. Like a flash of light, I just knew. I knew something was not right and that Doug was dead. I felt a coldness run down my spine and a sense of urgency and focus came over me. I felt deep in my bones. Time slowed down and the office became still and quiet. I could hear a pin drop, which was rare because normally the office is filled with radio traffic, conversations from across the room, and phones ringing. I took a breath. I exhaled and I picked up the phone and said, "Hi, Karen, what's up?" She proceeded to ask, "Have you heard from Doug today? I've been trying to call him and he's not responding. It's just not like him." I told her, I haven't. We're supposed to go on a hike tomorrow morning and he usually confirms with me the day before. I told her I would give him a call and get in touch with Maria. Maria is Doug's niece. I attempted to call and text Doug, but got no response, each moment just confirming what I already knew. I could feel my chest pounding as I reminded myself to breathe. I called Maria. She answered. I said, "Hi, have you heard from Doug today?" She said, "No, I'm getting ready to go over there. I just can't seem to find his house keys." I told her, "Wait for me. I'll pick you up. You're not going to his house alone." Fortunately, Maria only lived 5 minutes away from the police department where I worked. I quickly logged out of my computer and I told my supervisor, Melinda, "Hey, I have to go. Something's wrong with Doug. No one's heard from him all day. I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll let you know." I felt Melinda's nerves and sense of worry kick in. You know, that kind of worry a mother gets when she knows something is wrong with her children. I sense it, a sense of panic begins. She said, okay, let me know if you'll be back. Out the door I went, leaving everything at my desk. I do not remember the drive to Maria's house, only that it was dark and there was a stillness in the air. I remember walking into her home and she was still searching for the keys to Doug's house. She always left them in her secretary and they were nowhere to be found. I watched her shuffling through papers, looking in the nooks and crannies of the secretary with a concerned look on her face. She said, I just can't find them. I always leave them right here. I told her, let's go. We'll break in if we have to. I'll drive. We hopped into my black Honda Pilot and I headed toward Doug's place. On the way there, I handed Maria a pen and a pad of paper that I kept in the center console. How Virgo of me. I often prepared for the unexpected. All I can say, there are times when being prepared, having things in order comes in handy. And this was one of those moments. I told her, now we don't know what we're going to walk into. So write down any names and phone numbers of people you'd like me to contact just in case. Maria took a big breath and began writing down phone numbers, letting me know to call her neighbor first. I vaguely remember the drive to Doug's house, but what I do remember, it was a dark and cloudless night.
Kind of makes you want to read it. You know, some of your stories, I mean, right, duh, but I get to look at all these stories first and work with you guys one-on-one. And sometimes when I start to read them, I'm like, dang, is this like real? Because Gina's was one of those stories where I couldn't kind of stop reading. And so I had to go back and edit it because I'm like, what happened? So thank you for sharing that, because it is an enticing story. And anybody reading these things really are going to be motivated and be able to, I mean, we're changing and saving lives. I heard that with the first book. That's why I'm doing this. Lara, what were your thoughts real quick?
Yeah, I was just so drawn in. I think same feeling. And then just, yeah, heart totally in the whole thing. And then also then the mind starts, going and just, yeah, whole being completely immersed in the story. Beautiful, Gina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lara, are you ready to read yours?
Right.
Okay, deep breath.
There we go. All right. The title of mine is Nursing a Soul Back to Life. Underneath the pristinely white starched uniform I donned each day for class, I found I was simply a shell of a human. My heart, mind, and soul were marred by scars inflicted by both me and others. The deepest scars, though, were created by the demons of my own eating disorder and the wake of destruction within and around me. I was determined that things would be different this time. Out of the rubble. I had relapsed many times, and at that point, I had never known anyone who claimed to have recovered. My eating disorder felt like a life sentence, one I was unsure I could bear. Stepping into my new future, I felt hope yet conflict. Miraculously, the Western medical system had saved my brother's life, healing his brain and broken bones after a life-threatening accident. I was deeply grateful for his recovery, though I lacked confidence that Western medicine could heal me. Hospitalization, therapy, and a multitude of pills weren't fixing me. I couldn't grasp the disorder's origins. Where had all this come from? With each relapse, I felt more broken and hopeless, another failure, another scar, and yet another example of how I couldn't outrun the burden. I was attacked during my weakest and most vulnerable moments. Amid a relapse, there is a sense of feeling unseen and unreachable, drowning just below the waterline where the screams of despair go unheard. Thrashing to reach air remains unrecognized. The tether of your disorder keeps you deep enough where only your fingertips break the surface, and perhaps a tiny ripple is visible from shore.
What, right? Just so proud of you guys. Anyone listening at home, I've heard this week, like, I'm vanilla when I've talked to people who are like, I haven't got anything spectacular to share, or they're like, I'm not a writer. And most compilation books have authors or people who are trying to push another book. And you guys, every one of you are writers, and everybody has 1.5 million stories. So it's such an honor when of course, it puts me into counseling with you guys' stories. Like I have to go cleanse myself because I'm so honored to hold them. All right. What were your thoughts about that, Angie, on Lara's story?
It's admirable to hear you talk about your relapses and just going through that pain. I've seen that with my sister, but just looking at it in a different way, where I've always been a little heavier and not the other side of it, always wanting to be thin and not realizing that you guys have struggles too. And so,
Perspectives, right? We all have different, which is leading right into Angie's story. Perspective, everybody owns it. All right, go ahead, Angie.
Okay, mine is titled Different Perspective Between Two Sisters. No two people experience the exact cookie cutter feelings, thoughts, and behaviors, even if they descend from the same family tree and experience many of the same events simultaneously. We are proof of that. Our memories of childhood, holidays, illnesses, addictions, and more are not the same. We wrote this story together as sisters, showing how we have come to respect each other's perspectives. The little sister, that's me. As I sit here, scanning the items on the fireplace mantle, I focus on a delicate pearl butterfly figurine filled with some of my mother's ashes. She passed away in August of 2021 from multiple sclerosis. On either side of the butterfly sits photos of her. The images take me back to my youth. The photos show my beautiful, slender, got it together mom. I reflect over the years and wonder how my memories differ from my big sisters. We began talking about our past a lot more in the past few years. It became evident that many of our experiences didn't align. We soon realized our perspectives about the same events were actually not the same. School years, raising our families, and even jobs. We have the same mother, and though she and my brother have different biological fathers, we were raised together. My sister was 7 years old and my brother 6 when my biological dad adopted my siblings. I was a year old. I adored my mother, but my big sister was my role model. It wasn't until recently that I realized how much she always loved me. Memories are funny. You can grow up in someone with the same parents and home, yet everyone's memories are unique. At times, they can be polar opposites of each other. I idolized my sister. She was known for her thin figure, beautiful face and hair, friends, talents, and intelligence. Most of the time, I wondered if she knew I existed. In my opinion, in her eyes, I was annoying, loud, and embarrassing. We laugh now, but she doesn't even remember me riding the school bus with her. And my sister's in this room. Can you guess who?
That's me. That's me. I know. Whew. That story was hard to write, but it really, Angie and I were talking last fall right after the hurricane, and it just came upon my heart to write about something together because that experience felt so unique, the hurricane. So when I first approached her, she was like, I don't know. And we did it. So what are your thoughts, Lara?
Yeah, I have a little sister as well. And especially when it comes to all, challenges and as you've been growing up, and it just hit home of the different perspectives and even Angie, your comments to my stories, like just how everybody experiences things different, like the same day, the same kind of events, but can experience them in such a different way, and to hold space for all of that, because it's all the truth, depending on, where it is that you're coming from. So
I like that.
really
I like
beautiful.
that. Gina, what were your thoughts on?
Well, I'm the youngest in my family and little sister, so I totally identify with being in that level of the family, I guess you could say, and having similar experiences with my older sister. So yeah, it touched some of my own chords, And just like Lara was saying, that, yeah, we have to be able to hold all of these perspectives because they are truthful and they all have some purpose in it. But it reminded me of how much I wanted my own sister to be more a part of my life and take notice of me and my successes. And that is still something that kind of runs through. And I've had to just be happy with the way our relationship is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So beautiful, though. Thank you for sharing, Angie. Yeah.
And that's something I just want to finish up. Thank you, Angie. I just want to finish up this little story teaser number 1 by saying to you guys, I hear all the time, people are like, well, I don't want to write about my dad and what he did to me or my school teacher because I want to wait till they die. Literally, that's what I'm told. And what I can leave all of you with is that we have a right to tell our own story. No one can tell it for us. And we can always lead into these stories with a gentle preface, like this is my view, or we can change names or however this works for you. But please share your stories. If my sister and I didn't share it, she would have no idea that I remember how I was dressed, racing home from the school bus because I knew she was coming home from the hospital. And so share your stories. Have some coffee over a dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, and reach out to me if you want to be a part of this. My email is peggy@allthingswellness.com. And I'd love to hear from you because it's making my day. It's filling my purpose. All right, you guys, let's give a wave to everybody. And we will be posting this on social media and on my YouTube media channel. And we'll be back at you soon with story teaser number 2.